Good evening, everyone. Or I was going to say happy Sunday, but it's not, is it? It's Monday. So last night we decided to have some family time. My brother lives in Germany, and my mum and dad travel around the world most of their life. So we were all in one place. So we had a family day together at our house, had a barbecue. So I decided the nice thing to do would be to spend time with them and do my live this evening. So normally if I do a live in the evening, less people join in, but we shall see. So for those of you that don't know me, I'm Sam Wild, coach, and hiya Julie, it's nice to see you. And I got into personal development purely because I had my own experiences of manic depression, anxiety, nervousness, body image was another one actually that I never share with people. Body image was a big one for me. All right, Joe. And so I became a coach purely because of these things. Well, not because of those things, but I had coaching on those things and it transformed my life. And I had coaching, well, I've had coaching now for about 8 years on and off. And I've always had a coach in my life, and it transforms my life and continues to do so. So that is what this group is about. Being Human Being has been created purely because so many of us go throughout our life and suffer needlessly. And for me, people suffering needlessly is just such a shame. It's one of the biggest travesties. And if I can do something about that, then I'm damn well going to. And that is what being human being is all about. So during my kind of personal development journey, actually, before I start that, I normally start with a little bit of a story. And tonight's a bit of a silly one. So I had a full diary today, like a full diary. About a week ago, I had a full diary. And I saw in my Apple iPhone on Mondays a bank holiday. I don't work bank holidays generally because people don't want to work on a bank holiday. So I had a full diary about a week ago. So I started cancelling all my clients. Right, so literally I'm cancelling. I moved them to different days. So I had a full day clear. Right, and so yesterday I was speaking to someone and I said, "Oh yeah, of course I've got bank holiday tomorrow." No, my parents. I said, "Of course I've got bank holiday tomorrow." And they said, "No, we haven't." And I mean, my parents are a bit older, so I just assumed they were being a bit senile and forgetful. So I checked my diary and it says Irish bank holiday. So there is no bank holiday today, obviously. And so I haven't really had any work. It's been lovely because my son has decided to start going through part of his development where he's being extremely clingy. So we were literally up all night last night. So it feels like a blessing that I cancelled all my work today. So a little tip for you. So we'll do 7 tips tonight. And this is the 7th. Check that bank holidays are actually English bank holidays and not different ones. So honestly, Julie, just don't worry about it. This is just a little bit in the life of Sam. Sometimes, this is what happens. It's just the way it is. So guys, there are 6 things I want to talk to you about tonight. Hiya, Joanne. Nice to see you on. There are 6 things I want to talk to you about tonight. And these 6 things they're not things you're going to kind of pick up in a book and hear about. They're the 6 things that I've found really transform my life from really suffering with anxiety, depression, and in nervousness, and like I said, body image, confidence, wellness, all that kind of stuff. These are the things that really transform my life. So I've also started writing a book, believe it or not, and these are the 6 things, or the first 6 things that are going to be in it. And it will probably take me the rest of my life to write the book, but I've done the beginnings of it so far. But I'll let you guys know once I've finished it and once it's published and you can have a look at it. So the 6 things. Hiya, Jenna. So 6 things. The first one, guys, and the first thing that I learned when I was really kind of in the depths of my anxiety and my depression and my limiting beliefs was that my thoughts were running riot. My thinking was going crazy. And the thing that I could really do about that was question. One of my favorite, and well, actually one of the only quotes of Albert Einstein that I actually understand is question everything. And that was so, so true for me. I got in the habit of just questioning everything. And questions like, who would you be without that thought? Is it true? What am I assuming that is causing me to feel the way that I am right now? What am I assuming is true that might not be? And those questions completely transformed my way of thinking, or my way of being, really, because I was still thinking the same, but I allowed myself then to ask questions, and it really transformed my life. So number 1 is just question everything. And I don't mean question everything all the time. You drive yourself nuts. But if you're feeling like you're a bit stuck, you are suffering with lack of confidence or lack of self-efficacy, you're not feeling good about yourself, you're trying to achieve a goal and you keep failing, or you think you can't do something that really in reality we're all capable of anything, start asking some questions, question everything. And you know, one of the things I think helps a lot is to talk to somebody else. I have a technique with my clients called emptying the bucket. And what that means to me is you have to empty the bucket before you can clean it. So for me, it's get it all out there, say it how it is, talk it through, and get all of those questions and all of those thoughts out there, and then just start asking the questions, start questioning what you believe to be true. Because the thing that I notice the most is when I'm suffering, or when people are suffering, when I coach them, they're suffering, struggling, they're feeling stuck, they're lacking clarity. It's because they're buying into their thinking, they're believing their thinking, and a belief holds you a slave. Because it's neither wrong or right, but we believe it to be true. And that really messes with our minds, and it stops us living the reality that we could otherwise lead. So number one, question everything. You don't have to write these down. The live will be on the Facebook group, so you can just rewatch it if you'd like to. So number two, separate yourself from your thinking. And this is a bit of a head spinner, actually, because when I first kind of started to understand this to be true for me, and when I started to discover that I'm not my thinking, it was really helpful, but it took me a long time to kind of get my head around it. So most, if not majority, if not almost all of our thinking is subconscious. We don't control it, it just happens. And that's through conditioning, learning, habits. You know, it's our subconscious brain doing its job. All right. And the other part of our brain, the conscious brain, is just doing a bit of our conscious thinking, you know, guiding us in what we need to do next. And something that I really want to help people understand, especially in children, in kids, because if you can learn this from an early age, you're going to nail it. So for me, it's to know that you are not your thinking. You are the creator of your thinking. And that's not a blame thing. That's not, I feel shit, so therefore you're thinking shit, and that's your own fault. This is, do you know what? My thinking is making me feel a bit shit, but I am not my thinking. It's just a thought. It's not real. So separate yourself from your thinking. And that's really useful when it comes to breaking habits, whether it's you're trying to achieve a goal like weight loss. You know, that's another one. Because those thoughts, and we all know, I bet everyone watching this knows, when you're reaching for something that you, I don't know, for me it's cereal, a bowl of cereal, cold milk with a bowl of cereal every time. And Joe, I know that you're another one of those, so you can't get away with that in here. Call you out every time. So that for me is a thing. And sometimes your thoughts are so overriding, you know, I've got to do it. There's no way I can get away with not doing this. But just remember, have that awareness that you're not your thinking, and that then you have choices to really what you do next. You're always clear until you believe that you're not. I hope that makes sense. So number two, separate yourself from your thinking. Number three, this is, to be honest, why I'm doing what I'm doing. Because the thing for me is about working on yourself. Always, always, always be working on yourself. And it's not, I see a lot of people on Facebook in the coaching world and out there, you know, with their fitness and when they're trying to earn more money, and it's all about push, you know, got to do this, let's go. And that's great, that's fine. I'm not attacking that. But I think for me, there's a far more kind of wholesome, peaceful, loving approach, compassionate approach to self-development. And that is simply to know that you're already okay, and that you have everything you ever need to get and be and do and feel anything you ever want to feel. But it's that we've got a whole load of stuff in the way of that. So it's not that we need more, it's that we are more, but we just need to see it. And that for me, that kind of mindset shift of going from needing to already having is really deeply empowering. And you know, it's like when you say to somebody, or when I'd say to somebody, you know, they're like, I just feel fat, I'm overweight. And then you ask them the question that, okay, so who is the thin version of you? Who are you already? If you've already lost weight, who are you? You start asking those questions and it starts to shift that mindset. So always, always, always be working on yourself. And that again, I just can't, whether it's reading a book or a podcast or talking to somebody. I mean, I know obviously for me it's coaching people and being coached, obviously. You know, when I coach people, actually, I get my biggest insights sometimes, believe it or not. You know, my clients really, really teach me. They're fantastic peers to me. So always, always, always be working on yourself. You know, like I said, I went from a place of having real severe anxiety and trying to kind of dumb that down with drugs and alcohol. And, you know, I used to smoke a lot of weed. And coming from that place of anxiety, depression, and stress and nervousness, like I said to you guys before, nervousness was the big one for me, to where I am now, where I never have any of those things. I said never. Very fleeting moments I have those things, but very, very rarely. And it's not because I've done anything to try and change those things. It's not that I've tried not to have depression and not to have anxiety or not to feel nervous. But it's coming from a different place that I already know I'm okay, and working from there, kind of almost like you're ironing out the creases rather than just buying a whole new shirt. So always, always be working on yourself. One of the human needs is growth, remember. So that, you know, straight away you're going to be growing. Be yourself. All right. So number 4 is be yourself. And, you know, when someone used to say to me, Sam, just be yourself. Just be yourself. You know, love yourself. It meant nothing to me. It's such bullshit. And even now it's difficult, you know, and we all hear it, don't we? When people say, oh, yeah, just be yourself. You're like, well, actually, yeah, that sounds great, but I don't actually know who that is. And so many of us don't, because we spent so long living outside in, you know, changing our life around us to make us happy, that we forget the point of, and the whole point of life is to live inside out. Develop from within and then life changes. That is the key. And it's one which most of us never really get the chance to experience, which I think is a real, well, it's one of the biggest travesties in life, I think, for me. So, guys, if you're trying to be yourself, my only and best advice really is to know that you're already, like I said, you're already okay. We're born love. We're born compassionate. We're born whole. We're born with endless possibilities. We're born limitless until we start to believe that we're not. And so it's not so much I need to find out who I am. It's that I already am. And I want to start experiencing life from that place. So you start making decisions that really sit well with you in your gut, that you know to be true. You get out of your head and you connect from the neck down a little bit more. You sit with things without reacting, and you ask questions and you wait to react. You wait to respond when you know the time is right. And then you start to become yourself. We start to actualize yourself, I should say. So be yourself. And it's funny because when I say to people at the start of a coaching program with me, you know, often, just what would you do? What do you want? They don't know. A lot of us don't know, or they think they don't know. And actually what tends to be true is they think they don't know, but they do. They're just really either afraid to admit it, or it's a kind of thing that they've never really experienced before, is making a decision for themselves and not being okay with that, because it doesn't always feel okay, and that's okay. You know, we feel what we feel, and that's all right. So number 5 for me is something that we already have, but we often don't use, and that's awareness. And I would say awareness from all of the things I've just talked about. So, you know, we talked about question thinking, separating yourself from your thinking, always being yourself, always working on yourself, always having that level of awareness. For me, awareness is the key that really just, it's like the skeleton key that unlocks every door. To have that awareness of the self, you'll start to have a deeper experience of everything and be more grateful for things that maybe don't feel so good. You know, and if you're in a situation where, you know, life feels like it's coming at you and everything seems to be going wrong, having that awareness allows you to step back from it and to take the best from it, to learn from it, and to maybe even experience the stuff where you're not feeling good at a far deeper level, because that creates emotional intelligence, not resistance. I hate to think that we're creating emotional resistance. We want to create emotional intelligence. Life can take us to the deepest of places, and if we're willing to just go with that and to keep the awareness that it's not happening to us, it's just simply happening, then we have a really, really deep experience of life, and far less judgmental, far less stressful, far more loving, far more compassionate. And then you can do and have and be and feel anything. So awareness for me is the key. Lastly, and this for me again, God, if I could go into every school on this earth before children start learning anything in the curriculum, it would be, I would teach them this, or I would say this, and that is to be an eternal learner. Something for me, again, you know, going through all the things that I've been through, which has led me to become a coach and help other people and work with other people in a deeper place than I used to be able to, is to just continue being a learner without judgment. So I'll stop judging myself and become a learner in everything. And the good thing is, when you're a learner, there is no right or wrong. There is no embarrassment. There is no kind of remorse for getting things wrong, because there is no such thing. You're just simply learning. And when you're always learning, you're always growing, you're always experiencing, you're always inviting in the depth of life that already is there, and we allow ourselves to experience it. But so many of us judge ourselves all the time. Oh, I'm failing. Oh, I tried that and it didn't work. I can't do it. I'm not good enough. I need to be more confident. That person's better than me. Oh God, they're thinner than me. That person's got more money. They must be doing better. And all this bullshit. It's a simple judgment. And most of us just stop there and we live in our judgments. And a question that I would ask you right now is, what would your life look like if you stopped judging yourself and other people? Or not, didn't stop judging. I'm going to rephrase that, because we judge, that's our job, and it's fine to judge. Never try and stop judging, by the way, because it doesn't work, you'll waste your time. But it's to accept the judgment and use the judgment to say, hey, listen, I'm judging. How do I become a learner in this situation? How can I turn the judgment into a question? Is something along the lines of, I'm not good enough, could be, well, what is good enough? How can I feel good enough in this situation? What action could I take that exceeds good enough in this situation? Am I really being good enough to myself? You know, so always being the learner, asking the questions, and it just stops you being afraid of getting things wrong all the time, because we soon start to realize as you go through your life, you know, I mean, I'm only 34 years old, but I still have the feelings of, you know, I am, you know, I'm getting older quicker. I feel like I am, because I've got kids now, or a kid now, and it accelerates your life so much that the fearful thing for me in some respects is, I'll say fearful, but something I'm aware of, is that I don't ever want to be in a place where I've judged myself my whole life and I've just limited myself. Whereas I could have just been the eternal learner and just had such a rich experience, and a rich experience of life and relationships and love and sex, and just generally just a deeper experience of life, just through being a learner, not being afraid to ask and share, and just showing up full out to your life and to other people. So for me, number 6, it's not the most important by any means, but if you could take anything away from today, it would just be being a learner. So where are you not being a learner? Where are you stuck in your life at the moment? Where are you stuck in judgment of yourself or other people, in a relationship perhaps? But if you became the learner, what would happen? So guys, that's it from me. I hope that's really helpful. I hope it's helpful to some degree. Just a quick run through. Number 1, question everything. Albert Einstein, question everything. Doesn't have to be all the time, because you will drive yourself mad. But if you feel yourself feeling stuck, frustrated, like you're not getting what you want, or you're not feeling quite right, start asking some questions. And the questions don't have to have answers. Just the ability, just the action of actually asking a question in the first place frees the mind from being stuck and allows you to start seeing other possibilities. So the question is just the magic. Separate yourself from your thinking. You are not your thinking. You exist before your thinking. Who is that person? Good question to ask. Always be working on yourself. If you're at a place in your life right now where you keep going over and over the same stuff, you feel limited, you feel stuck, frustrated, there's anger or there's sadness, start working on yourself. And if you're not sure how to do that, then give me a shout and I'll point you in the right direction. Be yourself. If you don't know who that is, don't worry about it, because to be honest, most of us probably don't, and until we actually start working on ourselves. But just know that you are yourself and you're already perfect. Everything is exactly the way it's meant to be, and you are fine. And from that place, then you can start learning to be yourself. Because if you're judging and you're kind of stopping yourself from even understanding who you are, that's going to cause frustration, and you'll never really understand what it is to be you. And there is only ever going to be one of you, and there has only ever been one of you. So you've got something so special to bring to this world. So I would say, be yourself and learn to be that person. Keep the awareness of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? So just keep the level of awareness that of all the things that we talked about tonight, of that freedom. And it's all very, very possible. And lastly, always be the learner, the eternal learner. If you find yourself stuck in judgment and of yourself and others, and you're in a painful place, it's because you're stuck in a judgment. What would it look like to become a learner? You've got something you wanted to achieve for so long, but you just haven't managed to do it. What would it become? What would it look like to just be curious about trying something new, or showing up to it differently, or just accepting that it's hard, and it's okay to find it hard, and you don't need a reward for that. You don't need to make yourself feel better for that. It's okay to feel shitty sometimes. You're still learning, and that's fine. So guys, I hope that's helpful to you. If you've got any questions, please fire away. Again, thank you for all those guys that have messaged me in between sessions each week. It's been really interesting. I've had some amazing conversations. And if there's anything that anyone ever wants me to do a live on, if there's a part in your life where you're a bit stuck or you've got a frustration, I can promise you, myself included, that others feel the same way. So if there's anything that you feel like we could cover that would really help you, then please just send me a message. Be the learner, or don't. That's up to you. So guys, have a lovely week. Lots of love to you all. For the guys that I'm seeing tomorrow, Julie, I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And other than that, see you guys later on.